On to our topic of the week. The government has officially launched an airfare discount of up to 14% on domestic economy class as part of its program to provide cheap, safe and convenient transportation for the Eid al-Fitr homecoming trips.
The ticket price reductions policy was officially announced by the Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development, Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, in a joint press statement at the Terminal 2 of the Soekarno-Hatta International Airport, Tangerang on Saturday, March 1st. Also present at the press conference were Minister of Transportations Dudi Purwagandhi, Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani, Minister of State-Owned Enterprises or BUMN Erick Thohir, Minister of Public Works Dodi Hanggono, Deputy Minister of Tourism Niluh Puspa, and Cabinet Secretary Teddy Indrawijaya. The ticket price reduction is available for 15 days for flights from March 24 to April 7, 2025, with a ticket purchase period of between March 1st to April 7, 2025. If compared to the previous Christmas and New Year holidays, the discount for this year's Eid al-Fitr is bigger. Last year, the government only gave a discount on plane tickets of up to 10%. In his remarks, Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono said that the ticket price reduction was implemented in accordance with President Prabowo Subianto's instructions to provide affordable, safe and convenient transportation facilities during Eid al-Fitr or Lebaran holidays. To support the government's policy of lowering airline ticket prices, state-owned oil and gas company Pertamina has also decided to lower aviation's fuel or after prices at 37 airports in Indonesia during the Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr holidays. Vice President of Corporate Communications of Pertamina, Fajar Joko Santoso said, the after-price reductions is available from March 18 to April 15, 2025, and it is expected to help airline operators to reduce their operating cost. The national flag carrier Garuda Indonesia will also implement reductions in ticket prices during the 2025 Lebaran homecoming period as required by the government. The airline even promises to cut airfares by up to 19%, higher than 14% set by the government. Garuda Indonesia has prepared nearly 11,000 flights with a combined capacity of 1.9 million seats for both domestic and international flights during the Lebaran holiday rush, which is expected to take place from March 24 to April 7. In addition to airfare discount, the government, together with private companies, also participate in providing transportation facilities for millions of people traveling to their hometown as part of Mudik, which is usually marked by hours of traffic jams, especially across Java. The Transportation Ministry, for example, will provide free homecoming trips for land, sea and rail transport and will be held in several transportation hubs. For land transportations, the Land Transportations Directorate General provides 520 buses for 21,536 passengers and 10 trucks to carry 300 motorcycles. There are 31 destinations in Sumatra, West Java, Central Java and East Java. The Sea Transportations Directorate General provides free ship tickets for 47,816 passengers for 153 routes, while the Railway Directorate General provides a quota for 16,960 passengers and 7,424 motorcycles. The Indonesian Ministry of Transportation estimates that approximately 146.48 million people, or 52% of the populations, will travel during the 2025 Eid al-Fitr holiday, with the peak homecoming flow predicted for March 28.
Well, the government recently announced an airfare discount of up to 14% on domestic flights during this year's Eid-ul-Fitr homecoming season. The government needs to step in to reduce the airline ticket price among the highest in the world. So today we have a Zoom interview with Alvin Lie, Senior Aviation Analyst on Indonesia's high airfares and inefficiency problems in the country's airline industry. Hello, Alvin.
Hi, Luisa.
Hello, it's good to have you here with us on Economic Outlook via Zoom. Now, Alvin, for this year's Eid-ul-Fitr homecoming season, the government has already offered airfare discounts of up to 14% for domestic flights. In your opinion, Alvin, is the discount policy effective enough and perhaps helpful for the travelers? What's your opinion on this?
Okay, I believe that everyone loves discounts. I love discounts too, but let's look at it this way. Will this discount be significant enough to affect people who normally do not fly to change to fly? I do not believe that this will be enough to encourage people who do not usually fly to choose to fly this time. Look, aviation is expensive. In anywhere in the world, aviation is expensive, and it's not for everyone. I look at the Indonesian demography of uh, airline passengers. In last year, there are about 68 million tickets sold for domestic flights. Out of the 68 million tickets sold, it's approximately only about 20 million individuals who made up that number. So most of the passengers flew more than one time every year. 20 million people is less than probably 8% of our population in Indonesia. And these are the only people who fly domestically. So when the government introduced a discount, uh, less than 10% of the population will actually enjoy this discount because not everyone flies. So again, while it looks interesting, but I do not believe that this will be enough to get more people to fly because again, flying is not for everyone. Back to you, Louisa.
Promotion, everyone loves discount, but 14% is not a significant discount enough to make a difference. Now, the government's discount intervention could also indicate that the market mechanism in the aviation industry is not really working as it should be. Do you agree with this?
Yes, especially in Indonesia, the aviation, the the airlines ticket prices are not determined by market forces. It is determined by the government because in Indonesia we have tarif batas atas, that's the ceiling price, and tarif batas bawah, that's the minimum price for domestic flights, economic class. So again, Indonesia is the only country in the world that the government regulates the price. And the current price corridor has been in effect since 2019. It's almost 6 years, and the government has not reviewed it, despite the fact that the basic assumption for this price corridor has changed. When the current price corridor was determined in 2019, the exchange value of rupiah to US dollar to rupiah was 12,500. Now it's about 16,400. The price of aftur then was 9,500. Now it's in the region of 13,000 rupiah per liter. So the cost of flight operation has gone up, but the government does not review the price corridor. That's why the airlines are not making enough profit to make the ticket prices to be flexible between the ceiling and the minimum price. That's why it's
Exactly.
always at the ceiling or near the ceiling price. If the government reviews the price corridor periodically, let's say every 6 months, then we can see the fluctuation. When it's high season, the price will go up. When it's low season, the price will go down. But as it is now, it doesn't matter high season or low season, the price will always be near the ceiling price. So back to you, Luisa.
Well, the fact is, Pak Alvin, the airfares in Indonesia is at the moment considered among the most expensive in the world. And just as you explained just now, it's because of the government is regulating this. So what needs to change then, Pak Alvin, to make the domestic airline more accessible to the people?
Well, first, we have to understand that the ticket price that we as consumers pay is not only for the ticket. What we pay is already includes the base ticket, the base price of the ticket, the base fare. That includes the value added tax or PPN, 11%. That includes the passenger service charge, or normally people call it the airport tax, and also includes the mandatory jasa raharja insurance. But if you just take out the base price that goes to the airline for the ticket, it's not that expensive. And the irony is this: for domestic flights, tickets are subject to PPN, 11% value added tax. But for international flights, there is no PPN, there's no value added tax for international flights. Similarly, for domestic flights, the after is subject to PPN, 11% value added tax. But for international flights, the after is not subject to PPN 11%. So that makes up why the domestic ticket price tends to be higher than the international ticket price. Now, if you mentioned that the Indonesian ticket price is among the most expensive in the world, that is not correct. And former coordinating Mr. Luhut had already retracted his comments on that. We have to understand that ticket prices are subject to market volatility. When it's high season, the price will be expensive. Low season, it will be cheap. Internationally, that works that way. So when we compare our prices, we should also look at what the period of the price that we are looking. If we are looking at the price of low season, of course, it's very cheap because internationally there is no regulation to charge minimum price. Airlines might just sell tickets cheap to cut losses. But when it comes to high season, they'll make good profit on that. So it's not right that Indonesian ticket price is among the highest in the world. And also it's because of government intervention that our price, the price of tickets, air tickets or the airfare is not flexible as it should be.
All right, well noted on that, Pa Alvin. Now, some critics also say that the high ticket prices are believed to be caused by the lack of competition in airlines and also the limited number of aircraft in operation in the country. If this is true, how come the government does not encourage the operation of more airplanes, or is it difficult to do so?
Okay, first, I think we have to look at the cost structure. In Indonesia, we have to look at what costs are borne by the airlines. First is the cost of airport services, such as the rent of airport offices, airport check-in counters, landing fee, parking fee, and all that. We have to look whether our prices are competitive compared to international standards. Secondly, there are other costs like navigation services, as well as in what we call as enclave civilian enclave in military airbase, which many of our airports are actually military airbases, but some parts are operated for civilian airports. There are extra costs in there. So again, if we want to look at the big picture, we have to break down what contributes to the cost. Then we will know why it is costly to operate airlines in Indonesia. Now, about the number of planes being operated. We used to operate like over 600 planes prior to the pandemic. During the pandemic, it went down to about 300 to 325. Last year, the number of planes went up to almost like 430, but unfortunately, this year it has gone down to about 360. Why? Because the airlines are finding it difficult to get enough passengers to fill the plane. So it's not because of lack of competition, but the number of passengers are not enough. We look at the domestic market, domestic route. In 2023, 66 million tickets were sold. 2024, 68 million were sold. So we only see a 4% growth of domestic passengers. Whereas for international passengers, there is 21% growth between 23 and 24. So what is happening? Indonesian airlines are now more interested in developing international routes rather than serving domestic routes. That's because international routes airfares are not regulated by the government. It follows the market mechanism. There's no ceiling price, there's no minimum price, and the airlines earn dollar, not rupiah. So now the question is not having more planes, and the government the airlines do not need government encouragement. When the market is strong, they will automatically add to their fleet. Now, we have to look during the whole year how many passengers are there, because airplanes are not flexible. Once you get an airplane, you have to fly it throughout the year. It's not that you only operate it during the high season and you do not operate it during the low season. Back to you, Luisa.
All right, that is a very nice explanation you have right there, Pa Alvin. And also, one of the other factors that affects the ticket price is also the high price of aviation fuel that is sold by Pertamina. This has also contributed to the high airfare in the country. How should then the government resolve the after price problem?
Yes, this is interesting because Pertamina has been perceived as not efficient in Indonesia. But we have to bear in mind that Pertamina is also supplying aftur in airports outside Indonesia. Even in Australia, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, Pertamina is supplying aftur. And the prices are competitive to other companies. So we have to return to Indonesia and ask, why is the price in Indonesia so expensive? Pertamina has to pay a high rent to the airport operators for the space they use. And on top of the high rent, they still have to pay concession, so it's double payment. And Pertamina has to pay PNBP, Pendapatan Negara Bukan Pajak, non-tax national revenue to that is a certain rupiah per liter, PNBP to BPH Migas, the regulator. So that is why the prices are expensive for domestic fuel. And if you look at the Pertamina prices, the cheapest after is in Soekarno-Hatta Airport and Batam Airport, because Soekarno Airport is because of the proximity from the production to the airport, and in Batam, because Batam is special economic zone, there's no tax there. Whereas in other airports, Pertamina has to take into consideration the transport cost, the logistics cost, and also for smaller airports, the economics of scale is not achieved there. So that explains why the cost of after in smaller airports and further from Jakarta is more expensive. So again, we have to take things into perspective. And if we want to lower the price, I think the government again has to break down all the costs and see which costs can be eliminated or can be minimized, including the value added tax of 11% for after for domestic flights.
All
Back to you,
right.
Luisa.
Okay, thank you so much for the very elaborate explanation you have, Alvin, on today's discussion. And it certainly shows that the government has a number of issues that needs to be addressed in order to make the airfares more accessible, especially for the domestic routes. That was Mr. Alvin Lie, Senior Aviation Analyst. Thank you so much for being here on Economic Outlook today. All the best.
My pleasure.